Hello from Phoenix, where it's only 110 degrees today, a little bit better than yesterday. I was going to spend today, you cannot go outside here. I was going to go watch F1, get inside, have some popcorn. Decided not to, and I'm glad I didn't because another bombshell from the Giants. They seem to like doing these things at very surprising times. July 1st, Bob Melvin gets his contract extended. He technically has the option for next year picked up, but he now will be the Giants manager through the end of next season, at least. Look, things can always change. They could lose 30 of 35 and maybe they reevaluate. We have seen some late season front office changes, coaching changes the last couple of years, but I don't think Buster's necessarily that type of person. I think he is committing to Bob Melvin through next season. Obviously, they're doing that with this move, but I don't think he's going to go back on this. I just don't think that's the way Buster wants to do things. That was the previous manager here was you could say he scapegoated a little bit at the end there, and it ultimately didn't work out for that front office either. So I think this is Buster committing to Bob Melvin, who is 125 and 122 in 1.5 seasons with the Giants, his hometown team, a team he played for, a team that he grew up rooting for. He got to know, he went into the locker room one day and he's next to Willie Mays and Willie McCovey, who were there as instructors. So this job means a lot to him. This is his last job in the big leagues. Almost certainly he's 63 years old, and he has said that. I don't think anything would change that at this point. So this is a big deal for Bob. I think it's a huge move by Buster, obviously, not just going beyond the fact that he's committing to his manager for another year. It is, his reaction to everything. Everybody's wondering, how's he going to react? How's he going to react to everything that's going on the last, really the last 40 games offensively, as I talked about on the previous YouTube video. But the last week, I mean, this has been the worst week of the Buster Posey era. This has been Bob Melvin's roughest week as a manager. It continued Monday night, 2 runs at Chase Field. Just some sloppy baseball as well. Just did not look great. Buster was there. He was watching very closely pregame. He watched batting practice very closely. He talked to Pat Burrell. He talked to some other coaches, talked to the front office. Basically, the entire front office is here. They're meeting. He talked to some team leaders, spent some time with Matt Chapman and Brandon Crawford during batting practice. Crawford spent some time with him during the game as well. Basically, everyone he could talk to. And I don't know how much of that was going into this decision, but I do think a lot of that was paying attention to what was going on with the team, the direction of the team, what he needed to do. And everything I had heard on Monday was he was patient. He was not going to overreact to what's gone on. He has a strong feeling. He was a player himself. I think he wants the fixes to come from the clubhouse, the fixes to come from the stars, because that is the way he always viewed things when he was a player. And I know he really backed his coaches the last couple of days in some of the discussions that were going on behind the scenes. So today he backs his manager in a really forceful way. I mean, there's nothing more he could have done to publicly just kind of end any speculation about Bob Melvin's job security. And we'll see where this goes, but Matt Williams is very, very close to Bob Melvin. He has been with him for a long time. And as you've seen post game, Bob has backed him the last couple of weeks. This has made some mistakes. So, this is a commitment to that coaching staff as well. I mean, they could always make changes at the end of the year in some spots, but for now, this is a commitment to the manager and the coaching staff. Buster came out today and he said, we will talk to him later today, and I'll come back with more here, and we'll have a lot more on NBC Sports Bay Area and on the Giants Talk podcast on Thursday. Obviously, this will be our lead story, most likely, unless something weird happens the next couple of days. But here's what Buster said in his statement today. Having the chance to work alongside Bob every day, we're really fortunate to have such an experienced leader and one of the most well-respected managers in baseball. His leadership, preparation, and connection with our players have been invaluable, and we believe he's the right person to continue guiding this team forward. So doubles down on that. And I will say the timing of this, 100% intentional. Buster is not that online, not as much as the prior president of baseball operations. He's does not care as much about what's going on Giants Twitter, on social media, on talk radio, all of that. But he was aware of he is aware of how disgruntled everybody is, especially coming off that Chicago series. The timing here is 100% intentional. He could have done this at the All-Star break. He could have done this in September. He could have waited. He could have waited until the offseason, really. But this is a statement from Buster Posey, and really the second time in a couple weeks. I mean, you go back to the Rafael Devers thing. Timing of that is up to the other team, but that was a statement to this club that he believes it's pretty good, and this is a statement to the club and to the fan base that he believes Bob Melvin is the right guy. You might disagree watching this. I've heard from a lot of you who disagree, but ultimately it's Buster's decision, and he doesn't care about the noise. He cares more about continuity, and I think he spent a lot of time, a few months, looking at Bob Melvin and trying to figure out if he was the right man for the job. And today he decides he is. So interesting timing. A lot more coming. I will come back here and like I said on Giants Talk, we'll break it all down. But I did want to end with this, a quote from Matt Chapman this spring. He talked to John Shea of the San Francisco Standard about Bob Melvin and his job security and the fact that he had 1 year left on his contract. Here's what Matt told John. He said, I signed here because of Bo Mel. I would have never come to the Giants if it wasn't for him. He got me here. He's the reason I'm here. I didn't sign a 6 year extension thinking I was going to play for another manager. So look, you might be angry at home, but might be disappointed in some ways. Again, I've heard from you guys. You're probably going to be in the comments here as well. Totally fair. This has been a rough stretch to watch, but this is Buster's decision, and this is the way he wants to go. For he's making a statement here, and I think this is also what he feels is best for the clubhouse. And again, he talked to Matt Chapman yesterday. I don't know if it was about this, but I don't think he makes this move without talking to some of the team leaders and figuring out what to do. So I think it's a move that will go over pretty well in the clubhouse for the most part. I've never heard anything in there really. No grumbling, not like the end of the last era. There was a lot of grumbling that last Kapler season, and really before that as well. But I haven't heard that the last 2 years. So it's a happy clubhouse. It's a group that needs to play better because ultimately they put themselves in this position, and they played so poorly in recent days that it did become a topic of discussion of whether the manager comes back, whether some coaches get fired. So we'll see how they respond to this. But yeah, a big statement, a second big statement now in a couple weeks from Buster Posey.